Welcome to Farming Aid.
When it comes to choosing the right beef cattle, most farmers are not arguing about which breed looks better on paper. They are thinking about feed bills, carcass checks, and whether the numbers still make sense at the end of the season. That is exactly why the comparison between Gelbvieh and Sussex cattle matters. In this video, we will break down how Gelbvieh and Sussex compare in 3 areas that directly affect your bottom line: how efficiently they turn feed into weight, what their carcasses look like when they hit the rail, and how much it actually costs to raise them from calf to market. Instead of theory, the focus is on practical outcomes that matter, whether you are finishing cattle in a feedlot or relying on grass and forage. By the end, you will have a clearer picture of which breed fits your system, your market, and your long-term goals as a beef producer. Gelbvieh, a continental European breed that has been selectively developed for muscle, growth and maternal ability, tends to show up in modern commercial systems where feed efficiency and increased carcass weight are rewarded. Sussex, a British native breed with deep roots in grazing systems, brings durability, foraging ability, and a reputation for producing well-balanced carcasses under pasture-based or moderate feedlot finishing. Understanding the strengths and trade-offs of each helps producers match genetics to markets and management, and it is in that match where profitability is decided. Feed efficiency is the most tangible place where differences emerge. In simple terms, feed efficiency describes how many kilograms of dry matter it takes to produce a kilogram of gain, or in industry terms, feed conversion ratio. Gelbvieh genetics have been selected in many programs for greater growth rate and muscularity, traits that often correlate with improved feed efficiency in a feedlot setting. That improved efficiency shows up as faster rates of gain on a given finishing ration and, in many cases, a lower feed cost per kilogram of gain. Practical reports from producers and breed association material highlight Gelbvieh-influenced cattle as offering both added carcass weight and solid feedlot performance, and modern selection indexes for Gelbvieh place clear emphasis on feedyard traits. That makes Gelbvieh attractive where a feedlot or a high-energy finishing ration is part of the business model and where payment systems reward weight and musculature. Sussex cattle, by contrast, tend to shine in lower input systems. They are historically a British dual-purpose breed adapted to graze and grow on forage. Where feed is primarily pasture or conserved forages, Sussex animals often give more bang for the forage buck because they convert pasture into saleable weight with steady, reliable gains and fewer metabolic or digestive problems that sometimes occur when an animal is pushed rapidly on high-energy rations. That does not mean Sussex are inefficient in the feedlot, but relative to breeds specifically selected for rapid muscular growth, they may show slower finishing rates and slightly higher feed conversion ratios on high-concentrate rations. In many systems though, lower input costs for feed and labor, plus better performance on available forage, compensate for that and can shift the economics in favor of Sussex. Recent research into feeding performance of Sussex steers on mixed rations and forage-based diets indicates they perform well when diets are formulated around their strengths, especially in regions where forage is cheap and concentrate expensive. Carcass yield and the way carcass traits translate into value is where breed differences become monetary reality. Carcass yield usually refers to the dressing percentage and the proportion of saleable cuts off a dressed carcass. Continental breeds that emphasize muscling such as Gelbvieh commonly produce heavier hot carcass weights and larger ribeye areas at similar slaughter weights. This muscle emphasis often yields a higher dressing percentage and a larger retail product yield per head, which is directly valuable when payment is by weight or by dressed carcass. Several breed evaluation studies and feedlot research projects have reported that Gelbvieh-influenced cattle tend to have increased hot carcass weight and ribeye area, sometimes with lower marbling scores at equal days on feed. The trade-off is clear: Gelbvieh may deliver more saleable pounds and superior cutout, but if the market or packer grid heavily rewards intramuscular fat and premium quality grades, the lower marbling can suppress premiums. Producers must therefore understand the pricing grid in their market before favoring a muscular, high-yielding genotype. Sussex Carcass performance is typically described as moderate and balanced. Historically selected as a dual-purpose animal, they do not present the same extreme muscling as continental breeds, but they frequently have desirable conformation and a dressing percentage that sits comfortably in the common industry range. In practice, that means a Sussex Carcass will often yield a reliable proportion of retail cuts without the extreme leanness that sometimes accompanies very high-muscled continental types. For producers targeting niche markets where eating quality, consistent portion size and grass-fed credentials matter, Sussex can be an advantage. Furthermore, when finishing systems are pasture-based or utilize minimal concentrates, Sussex carcasses often reach market readiness with favorable fat cover and a carcass composition that matches consumer expectations for pasture-raised beef. The degree to which that carcass profile is better or worse economically depends entirely on local premiums, grid incentives, and the premium consumers or retailers will pay for the characteristics Sussex commonly deliver. Costs and inputs are where the rubber hits the road. If feed is cheap and the operation includes a feedlot, Gelbvieh's strengths in feed conversion and heavier carcasses can reduce cost per kilogram of gain and increase revenue per head. But that conclusion must be put into the context of whole farm economics. Faster-growing animals require more management attention to reach their potential. They may need improved bunk management, ration consistency, and mineral programs to avoid digestive upsets. Capital investments in handling facilities and a willingness to manage cattle on high-energy rations are prerequisites. On the other hand, Sussex's lower input attributes reduce some recurring costs. They are known for foraging ability, fertility, and mothering in low to moderate input systems, and generally have solid survivability on range or pasture. Where feed, labor, or capital are constrained, Sussex can lower variable costs and reduce the risk associated with high-cost finishing rations. Choosing genetics is therefore not only about per-animal feed efficiency but about how those animals fit into a system that spreads fixed costs across the herd. A good farmer-level comparison always includes sensitivity to market volatility. In times of high feed prices, the advantage swings toward animals that do better on forage and require less concentrate, favoring Sussex or Sussex crosses. When cattle prices are pushing record highs and packer grids reward heavy carcasses by weight, muscular and efficient feeders like Gelbvieh-influenced cattle can capture more revenue per head. This sensitivity is visible in modeling work and industry reports that show profitability is a function of input costs relative to carcass prices. Producers can exploit this by using crossbreeding strategies. A Gelbvieh sire over maternal cows can inject growth, muscling and carcass yield into a herd while keeping maternal and fertility traits from the dam side, and a Sussex sire or dam line can hold costs down in forage-dominant systems. The beauty of crossbreeding is the opportunity to combine feed efficiency, carcass traits, and maternal durability to shape animals that specifically match a farm's feed base and market. Beyond the feedlot and carcass metrics, there are several practical management and veterinary considerations. Gelbvieh cattle, if pushed rapidly on high-energy rations, need careful transition programs to prevent acidosis and feedlot digestive disorders. Their higher growth potential also makes balanced mineral and protein programs important early in life so skeletal growth and muscle deposition occur without metabolic cost. On the other hand, Sussex cattle often present fewer metabolic challenges in forage-based systems but may require supplemental concentrates or targeted finishing strategies to reach heavier weights on an accelerated schedule. Reproductive efficiency is another economic lever. Gelbvieh breeders have worked to keep maternal traits competitive, and many modern Gelbvieh lines produce cows with good milk and fertility, but historically the British breeds like Sussex have been selected for longevity and consistent reproduction in variable environments. Longevity and lifetime productivity reduce replacement cost and spread heifer development expenses across more production years, and that can be a material advantage when replacement heifer rearing costs are high. Carcass quality and consumer expectations complicate breed choice further. Gelbvieh's tendency toward leaner, more muscular carcasses means packers will often pay well for heavier carcasses and larger ribeyes, but those same carcasses can be penalized for insufficient marbling in grids that prize choice or prime quality. Sussex, producing moderately muscled carcasses with typically adequate fat cover when finished on grass or mixed rations, may align better with consumers looking for flavor and tenderness associated with slower finishing or grass-fed labels. Many producers find the middle ground in crossbreeding programs that capture the best of both worlds: Gelbvieh sired calves for terminal performance and Sussex or other British breed genetics to anchor maternal durability and cost control. The science and the practical evidence both point to matching genetics to system rather than seeking a single breed that beats the rest in every circumstance. The real takeaway is that profit comes from alignment, not extremes. Matching genetics to your feed resources, management style, and target market will always matter more than breed reputation alone. Some producers will benefit most from Gelbvieh performance, others from Sussex efficiency, and many will find success by blending the two through crossbreeding. Whichever path you choose, understanding how feed efficiency, carcass yield, and costs work together puts you in control of your margins. If this comparison helped clarify your decision, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more practical cattle content, and drop a comment sharing which breed fits your farm best.